The courtroom in Atlanta was supposed to be a place of justice, but what unfolded looked more like a public execution. Cameras were rolling as the judge's voice echoed across the room. King Harris. 5 years in state prison. At that very moment, King's body collapsed like his soul had been ripped out. He hit the floor screaming, "I'm innocent, they set me up." His cries were so piercing that even guards froze for a second. Tiny screams shattered the silence, a mother's cry so raw, so broken, that the entire courtroom gasped. She tried to rush to her son, clawing at officers holding her back, begging them, "Please don't take my baby." Her makeup streaked down her face as she collapsed into her chair, shaking uncontrollably. And then came T.I., the rap legend turned father on fire. He leapt to his feet, pointing directly at the judge. "This is corruption. You're destroying my son because of me." His voice thundered through the courtroom before bailiffs dragged him back. Reporters caught every second, and within minutes, the internet exploded. But the true chaos came seconds later. A man in the back of the courtroom, wearing a black mask, rose from his seat holding a stack of papers and a USB drive. "I have the proof. King was framed. The Harris family is being sacrificed," he yelled before security swarmed him. But not before one sentence slipped through, caught on camera. "The truth will kill Atlanta's elite." The footage went viral instantly. Social media caught fire. Hashtags like #JusticeForKing and #SystemSetup trended worldwide. A leaked recording, allegedly King on a jailhouse call, surfaced, where his trembling voice whispered, "They're planning to kill me inside." Millions of fans broke down, begging for answers. Then came the twist that tore the family apart. A leaked court document hinted King might not even be T.I.'s biological son. The revelation detonated across the internet, with blogs spinning, theories of a hidden DNA test, a decades-old affair, and cover-ups that could destroy the entire Harris legacy. Tiny, caught leaving church in tears, refused to answer reporters' questions. T.I., red-eyed and furious, screamed into cameras, "That's my son. They'll never take that from me." Meanwhile, prison insiders leaked that King had been beaten. On his first night, his swollen face in a mugshot shocking the world. A handwritten letter allegedly from King spread online. "If I don't make it out alive, tell my family I love them. They want to break me, but I'm still fighting." The Harris family wasn't just collapsing. They were under siege from the system, from hidden enemies, and from secrets buried for years. And now the world is asking, is King Harris guilty? Or is he the ultimate pawn in a war meant to destroy his father? Because after this night, one thing is certain: this isn't justice, this is tragedy in real time. Stop everything, because what I'm about to reveal isn't just another headline, it's a family tragedy unraveling in real time. Last night in Atlanta, the courtroom turned into a stage of heartbreak, betrayal, and rage as King Harris, son of rap legend T.I. and reality star Tiny, was sentenced to 5 long years behind bars. The scene was nothing short of chaos. Cameras captured the exact second the judge uttered the words, 5 years in state prison. The sound of that gavel hitting the desk was like a thunderclap through the courtroom, silencing the whispers, crushing the air out of the room. And then it happened. King's knees buckled. His young body dropped like a stone, his face hitting the wooden table as guards rushed to hold him up. He screamed, a scream so raw, so agonizing, that it pierced through every soul in that room. "I didn't do it. They set me up." Tiny's reaction was devastating. The cameras zoomed in on her trembling hands as she clutched her chest, tears pouring down her face. She wasn't just crying, she was wailing, clawing at the air like a mother losing her child forever. "Don't take my baby," she sobbed, her voice breaking into fragments. Security had to hold her back as she tried to leap toward her son. She collapsed, her head in her hands, mascara smeared across her face, shaking as if her body had given up on her. And then came T.I., the father, the rap mogul, the man used to commanding stages, arenas, and millions of fans. But this wasn't a performance. This was rage. He rose from his seat, his fist pounding the table so hard that the microphone screeched. His eyes burned with fury as he pointed directly at the judge. "This ain't justice, this is revenge. You're punishing my son because of me." His voice echoed off the marble walls, filled with fire, desperation, and disbelief. Bailiffs swarmed him, pulling him back. But not before he shouted, "You're destroying my family in front of the world." The courtroom was a battlefield. Journalists scribbled furiously. Cameras flashed and gasps spread like wildfire. And then out of nowhere, a man in a black mask stood up in the back row. The entire courtroom froze as he held up a stack of papers and a USB stick. His voice was low but sharp. "I have the proof. King was framed. The Harris family is being sacrificed." Security rushed toward him, but before they could silence him, he dropped one final line that rattled everyone to the bone. "The truth will bury Atlanta's elite." Those words spread across the internet within minutes. Social media exploded hashtags, like #JusticeForKing, hashtag set up by the system, and hashtag Harris conspiracy shot to the top of Twitter. Instagram feeds flooded with courtroom clips. TikTokers wept on camera. Millions of views stacking up as fans demanded answers. But the nightmare didn't end there. Hours later, an audio clip leaked online, allegedly a jailhouse call from King himself. His voice, trembling, broken, whispered through static, "They're planning to kill me inside. Tell my family I love them." The internet shattered. Fans couldn't breathe listening to that call. Comment sections turned into war zones, some screaming for justice, others demanding investigations. Then, like gasoline thrown on fire, another leak surfaced, a sealed court document hinting that King Harris might not even be T.I.'s biological son. Yes, you heard that right, hidden paternity tests. Whispers of a decades-old affair and rumors of industry cover-ups exploded into the public sphere. For a family already drowning in grief, this revelation was like a dagger through the chest. Tiny, caught leaving a church later that night, was inconsolable. Reporters bombarded her with questions, but all she could manage through tears was, "He's my son. That's all that matters. They'll never take him from me." Her words shook, her voice fractured, but her pain was undeniable. Meanwhile, T.I. faced cameras with red, swollen eyes, his voice trembling with rage. "I don't care what papers say. That's my son. They can't rewrite history. They won't destroy us like this." His declaration went viral, yet beneath the surface, speculation boiled. Was this family tearing apart, not just from the system, but from secrets that had been buried for decades? And then the most disturbing image of all, a mugshot surfaced from inside prison, allegedly taken after King's first night. His face was swollen, bruised, eyes barely open. Anonymous prison insiders claimed he had been jumped, beaten by inmates as guards looked away. The internet couldn't handle it. Fans screamed, activists demanded investigations, and hashtags demanding prison reform surged across every platform. As if that wasn't enough, a handwritten letter appeared on Instagram, allegedly penned by King himself. The paper was crumpled, the handwriting messy, ink smudged by tears. It read, "If I don't make it out alive, tell my family I love them. They want to break me, but I'll never stop fighting." The post racked up millions of likes, hundreds of thousands of comments, and global outrage. The Harris family is not just grieving. They are under attack from a system they claim is corrupt, from enemies who hide in shadows, and from secrets that refuse to stay buried. But here's the question haunting the world tonight. Is King Harris truly guilty? Or is he the ultimate pawn in a war meant to destroy T.I., Tiny, and everything their family represents? Because after the shocking day, one thing is clear: this isn't just a prison sentence. This is a tragedy in motion, unfolding before millions of eyes, with every scream, every tear, and every revelation tearing the Harris family apart. And the world is watching, waiting, wondering who will survive the storm. The Harris family thought the storm couldn't get any worse. But what happened after King's sentencing turned this tragedy into something darker, more twisted, more unthinkable than anyone could have imagined. Within 24 hours of the gavel's final slam, a video began circulating online, grainy security footage allegedly from inside the jail. The clip showed a group of inmates cornering King in a dimly lit corridor. You could see fists flying, King crumpled against the wall, and a guard standing just a few feet away, doing nothing. At one point, the camera caught King screaming, his face bloodied. Before the footage abruptly cut off, social media erupted into chaos. Fans flooded the internet with outrage, celebrities demanded justice, and hashtags like #ProtectKing at all costs surged worldwide. The footage wasn't just disturbing, it was proof that King was being set up, targeted, and left defenseless in a system that was supposed to protect him. Tiny broke her silence hours later in a trembling Instagram live. Her face was pale, eyes swollen from days of crying. She could barely get the words out as she begged, "Please, somebody help my son. They're trying to kill him in there. I don't care about fame. I don't care about money. I just want my baby back." Her live stream had millions of viewers within minutes, people spamming the comments with crying emojis, broken hearts, and demands for action. But while Tiny's pain drew sympathy, T.I.'s rage drew controversy. In a fiery press conference outside his mansion, he stood in front of flashing cameras, his voice thundering like a war cry. "This ain't no mistake. This is a setup. This is about power, politics, and silencing me. Y'all know I've spoken out against this system for years, and now they're coming for my blood." He accused Atlanta's political elite, claiming King's sentence was punishment for his activism, his outspokenness, his refusal to bow down. The internet split into some believed him, others accused him of fueling conspiracy theories. But then came the bombshell that made even the skeptics pause. A whistleblower, an anonymous source allegedly from inside the district attorney's office, leaked a confidential memo. The document hinted that King's sentence had been influenced by higher directives and personal grievances connected to T.I.'s history with local officials. Screenshots of the memo went viral, and suddenly the whispers of conspiracy turned into screams of corruption. And as if the family wasn't fractured enough, more cracks began to show. A leaked audio recording surfaced online. Tiny and T.I. locked in a brutal argument. Tiny's voice shook with fury as she screamed, "This is your fault. If you hadn't made enemies with everybody, King wouldn't be in this mess." T.I. roared back, "Don't put this on me. You knew the risks when you married me. You stood beside me when I went to war with the system, and now you want to blame me when it's our son." The audio was raw, messy, painful. Fans couldn't decide who to side with: Tiny, the grieving mother, or T.I., the enraged father fighting the machine. The Harris household wasn't just under attack from the outside, it was collapsing from within. Meanwhile, King himself became a ghostly presence. Letters allegedly smuggled out of prison circulated on Twitter. One of them read, "They put me in solitary for asking for help. No windows, no light, just 4 walls. I can hear people screaming all night. If I don't get out soon, I don't think I'll make it." The handwriting was shaky, almost unreadable. But the words sliced straight into the hearts of his fans. Then came the most chilling twist yet. A blogger with a history of exposing celebrity scandals released what she claimed were sealed adoption papers. Her headline screamed, "King Harris was never T's son's secret adoption files exposed." The internet exploded. The theory that had been whispered in shadows suddenly felt real. Validated. WEAPONIZED. Tiny, cornered by paparazzi outside her SUV, burst into tears when asked about the adoption rumors. Her voice cracked as she whispered, "He's my son. No matter what blood says, don't ask me about this again." But the damage was already done. Comment sections boiled with betrayal, speculation, and mockery. For a family already under siege, this was gasoline on fire inside the rap community. Support fractured. Some of T.I.'s peers rallied behind him, posting messages of solidarity. But others quietly distanced themselves, fearful of being dragged into the storm. One rival rapper even went live, smirking as he said, "I told y'all Harris family ain't as perfect as they pretend." That clip alone pulled millions of views, pouring salt into already gaping wounds. And then the ultimate gut punch. King's mugshot was updated after his second week in prison. His eyes were hollow, lips cracked, his once vibrant energy completely drained. Fans shared the photo with captions like, "They're killing him slowly." Candlelight vigils erupted in Atlanta, New York, and Los Angeles. Strangers who had never met King Harris wept in the streets, holding posters that read, "Free King," and "Stop the setup for the Harris family." The nightmare deepened. Tiny reportedly collapsed at home and was rushed to the hospital after suffering a panic attack. Insiders whispered that she hadn't eaten in days, living only on coffee and cigarettes, her body breaking under the stress. T.I., on the other hand, grew more militant, rallying supporters and threatening to burn the whole city down if anything happened to his son. The pressure reached boiling point when a second masked figure appeared during a rally, holding up a sign that read, "King knows the truth. If he speaks, careers will end." The crowd erupted. Rumors spun out of control. And suddenly the tragedy of a 5-year sentence had transformed into something far bigger. A ticking time bomb that threatened to blow apart Atlanta's music, politics, and justice system all at once. And here's the part nobody saw coming: whispers of a documentary deal. Rumors spread that Netflix had approached insiders to secure rights to the Harris family tragedy. Some called it exploitation. Others said it was the only way to expose the truth. Either way, one thing was undeniable: King Harris's story had left the courtroom. It had left Atlanta. It had become a global phenomenon. But while the world watched, debated, and speculated, one chilling reality remained. King was still locked away, still alone, still a target, and every passing day felt like another countdown towards something irreversible. This isn't just scandal anymore. It isn't just tragedy. It's a war inside the family, inside the system, inside the culture itself. And no matter who survives this, nothing will ever be the same again. The Harris saga reached a boiling point that nobody, fans, critics, or even the family themselves could have imagined. What began as a 5-year sentence spiraled into a full-blown national crisis, and the climax was more violent, more heartbreaking, and more controversial than anything seen before. It all started with the leaked courtroom footage that went viral overnight. The video showed King Harris being escorted back into court for a follow-up hearing. Shackles clinked against the floor as he shuffled forward, his head hung low, his body looking frail and battered. But it wasn't just his condition that shocked people, it was the moment he turned to his parents, his voice echoing across the silent room. "I can't take this anymore. Y'all betrayed me." The words hit like a grenade. Tiny collapsed in her seat, sobbing uncontrollably. T.I. froze, his face pale. His jaw clenched in disbelief. King's statement wasn't just about the system, it sounded like it was aimed directly at his own family. And within minutes, the clip was trending worldwide. Speculation erupted. Did King believe his parents had sacrificed him? Had secrets been hidden all along? Commentators tore into the footage, dissecting every frame, every word, every tear. Some swore King's eyes were filled with hatred. Others said he was drugged, coerced, or even forced to make the statement. But then came the true shocker. A bombshell report dropped from an anonymous insider, claiming that King Harris had signed a sealed affidavit accusing his father, T.I., of orchestrating backroom deals that left him vulnerable to the harsh sentence. The claim that T.I. had cut a deal with prosecutors to protect himself from an impending federal investigation, and King was a sacrificial lamb. The internet detonated. Overnight, hashtags shifted from hashtag Free King to hashtag T sold his son. The betrayal narrative caught fire, spreading faster than any defense T.I. could mount. He rushed to deny the claims, go and live in a furious rant. I would never sacrifice my son. Y'all think I'd trade my child's life to save mine? That's insanity. His voice cracked, his fury raw. But the seed of doubt had already been planted. Tiny's silence made it worse. For days, she refused to comment, isolating herself from the public eye. When she finally emerged, paparazzi captured her looking shattered, her voice trembling as she muttered, "I don't know who to trust anymore." Even in my own home, her words sent chills across the nation. Fans began to speculate that the Harris family wasn't just collapsing, it was cannibalizing itself from within. As the family fractured, the streets of Atlanta erupted. Protesters flooded downtown, holding signs that read "Justice for King" and "Stop sacrificing our youth." Tensions between police and protesters escalated into violent clashes, tear gas filling the air, sirens screaming through the night. News outlets described the chaos as the Atlanta riots, sparked by the Harris tragedy but fueled by years of anger at the system. And then came the darkest moment yet. During a prison visit, Tiny was finally allowed to see her son face to face. Witnesses reported that she broke down, sobbing uncontrollably, pressing her hands against the glass, begging him to hold on. But what shook the world was King's cold, distant stare. He refused to pick up the phone. He mouthed the words, "I don't forgive you." The image of Tiny collapsing on the floor as guards carried her out became the most shared photo of the year. Fans described it as a death of a mother's soul caught on camera. Meanwhile, leaked emails began circulating online, allegedly between prosecutors and Atlanta officials, discussing the Harris problem and strategies to neutralize the family's influence. Whether real or fabricated, the emails ignited fury. T.I. claimed it was proof of a conspiracy. Skeptics argued it was a distraction. But either way, the narrative was unstoppable. Then, in the dead of night, an unverified video hit the internet. Grainy, shaky, filmed on what looked like a smuggled phone. It appeared to show King in his prison cell, bruised and whispering into the camera, "I know the truth now. If anything happens to me, it's because I was silenced. Tell my story." The clip cut off abruptly, but its impact was devastating. Millions of people shared it with captions like "They're going to kill him," and "This is bigger than prison, it's assassination." Rumors spread of deals, betrayals, even secret blood pacts within the music industry. Commentators claimed King was being punished not just for his father's enemies, but because he had uncovered something explosive, something that could topple careers, expose corruption, and destroy powerful figures across Atlanta. The tragedy reached its climax during a highly publicized rally outside the courthouse. T.I. and Tiny stood together for the first time in weeks, facing a sea of thousands of supporters. Their voices shook as they begged for King's release. But before the rally could end, chaos erupted. Tear gas was launched, crowds screamed, and suddenly T.I. was pulled into a brawl with police. Cameras captured every brutal second. America's rap legend thrown to the ground, handcuffed, his face pressed into the pavement while his wife screamed his name. It was the ultimate image of collapse. The Harris empire, once untouchable, once celebrated, was in ruins. Their son behind bars, their marriage in shambles, their city in flames, and yet, the questions wouldn't stop. Was King really guilty? Was he truly betrayed by his own blood? Or was the entire family nothing more than pawns in a deadly game played by unseen hands? For millions around the world, one thing was clear: this wasn't just a story about a prison sentence. It was about corruption, betrayal, sacrifice, and the destruction of a family in the harshest spotlight imaginable. And as King's hollow eyes haunted screens across the globe, a chilling thought settled in every mind. Maybe this wasn't the end of the Harris family story. Maybe it was only the beginning of something far more tragic, because once trust is shattered, once blood turns against blood, there's no coming back. And now, as the dust settles, one truth remains: the Harris family will never be the same again. A son locked in chains, a mother collapsing under the weight of grief, and a father branded as both protector and betrayer. This isn't just scandal, it's tragedy on a scale we rarely witness. Ask yourself, how does a family survive when the system, the streets, and even their own blood turn against them? Can T.I. ever wash away the stain of betrayal rumors? Can Tiny ever recover from the sight of her son rejecting her love? And what about King, the boy who dreamed of carrying his father's legacy, now trapped in a cage, whispering to the world that he may not live to see freedom again? The footage, the leaks, the whispers of conspiracy, whether you believe them or not, the emotional wreckage is undeniable. This isn't entertainment. This isn't a headline to scroll past. This is a family being ripped apart in front of millions, their cries echoing across courtrooms, streets, and screens worldwide. And maybe that's the real tragedy. Not just that King Harris was sentenced, not just that Tiny and T.I. are drowning in grief and suspicion, but that we, the world, are forced to watch helplessly, glued to every update, waiting for the next heartbreaking twist, knowing deep down it could end in the unthinkable. So tonight, as you turn off this video, remember one thing: this isn't just their story. It's a mirror reflecting corruption, betrayal, and the cost of fame. And if a family as powerful as the Harrises can be destroyed so brutally, then no family, no matter how strong, is safe.